Walk into almost any workplace today and you will feel it. The quiet tension, the unspoken rivalry, the undercurrent of fear that someone else might take your place, win the promotion, or earn the recognition you've been working for. The corporate world often runs on competition. From the moment you submit your resume to the moment you sit in a meeting, there is this invisible scoreboard where people measure each other's worth. Who has the better title? Who landed the bigger client? Who spoke the loudest in the room? And while competition can sometimes spark performance, too often it drains creativity, destroys collaboration, and leaves people feeling exhausted and insecure. What if the answer to success at work is not outshining others, but creating opportunities that lift everyone higher? What if abundance at work means replacing fear of being left behind with the joy of building something new? This is the heart of moving from competition to creation. Scarcity mindset tells you there are only so many seats at the table. It whispers that if someone else succeeds, it reduces your chances. It tells you that your co-workers are obstacles to overcome, rather than allies to grow with. Abundance mindset flips this narrative upside down. It says, opportunities are not fixed, they can be created. Success is not a pie with limited slices, but a kitchen where more pies can be baked. When you adopt this way of thinking, you stop spending your energy guarding your territory and start using it to expand what's possible. Think of competition like running on a treadmill. You are sweating, pushing, straining, but you're not actually moving forward. You are just trying to stay in place, terrified of falling behind. Abundance thinking, on the other hand, is like stepping off the treadmill and onto a trail in the open air. You are still moving, still exerting effort, but now each step takes you somewhere new. You are no longer stuck measuring your pace against the person next to you. You are carving out your own path. But why do so many of us cling to competition in the first place? The answer lies in fear. Fear of irrelevance. Fear of being invisible. Fear of losing a paycheck or a promotion. Fear convinces us that the workplace is a battlefield where only the strongest survive. And when fear drives our actions, we end up withholding ideas, sabotaging others, or working ourselves into burnout just to prove we belong. Yet the irony is this: fear-based competition rarely creates lasting success. It might win you a short-term victory, but it rarely earns you long-term influence or fulfillment. Abundance at work starts with identity. Instead of asking, how do I prove I'm better than them? Ask, what unique value can I contribute here? This shift is subtle but profound. When your focus is on proving yourself, you become reactive, constantly scanning for threats. But when your focus is on contribution, you become proactive, looking for gaps to fill, problems to solve, or ways to elevate the team. You stop obsessing over what others are doing and start investing in what only you can do. And the truth is, every person has a unique mix of skills, perspectives, and experiences that no one else can replicate. Abundance begins when you embrace that uniqueness and let it guide your work. Consider this in practical terms. In a competitive environment, if a colleague has a good idea, you might feel threatened. Scarcity says, their success makes me small. Abundance says, their idea sparks new possibilities. How can I build on it? Instead of tearing others down, you begin to collaborate, to combine strengths, to innovate together. The result is not only better outcomes for the organization, but also a deeper sense of fulfillment for you. Because deep down, humans are wired for connection, not isolation. Abundance thinking allows you to lean into that truth. Now let's address one of the most common myths in professional life, that competition is the only way to stay sharp. People often defend competition by saying it pushes them to perform. And it's true, competition can light a fire under you, but it's a fire fueled by fear, and fear is not sustainable. It eventually burns you out. Creation, on the other hand, is fueled by vision. When you're driven by the excitement of possibility, you don't just push harder, you push smarter. You innovate, you experiment, you think beyond the obvious. This is why some of the most successful companies and leaders are those who stop obsessing over beating rivals and start focusing on creating value that didn't exist before. Abundance at work also requires redefining what success looks like. In a scarcity mindset, success is measured by titles, salaries, and status. It's all about climbing the ladder faster than the person next to you. In an abundance mindset, success is measured by impact, growth, and contribution. Did you solve a problem in a new way? Did you help your team achieve something greater? Did you leave the situation better than you found it? These are markers of abundance. And ironically, when you chase them, traditional markers of success often follow naturally. Promotions and recognition tend to come to those who create value, not just those who compete for attention. Let's take an example. Imagine two employees aiming for the same promotion. One spends all their time trying to outshine the other, volunteering for every project just to be visible, talking over colleagues in meetings, withholding information to stay ahead. The other focuses on creating opportunities, improving systems, mentoring younger staff, suggesting innovations that help the whole department run smoothly. At first glance, the competitive employee might seem more aggressive and ambitious, but over time, leaders notice the difference. The one who creates opportunities earns trust, respect, and influence. That is the power of abundance. It doesn't just win short-term points, it builds long-term credibility. Another key element of abundance at work is collaboration. Collaboration is not just a trendy word, it is the practice of abundance in action. When you choose to collaborate, you declare that success is not a zero-sum game. You recognize that others' strengths amplify yours, and together you can achieve what none of you could alone. Scarcity isolates, abundance integrates, and in a world where problems are increasingly complex, integration is far more valuable than isolation. But to collaborate effectively, you must let go of the fear of losing credit. Scarcity makes you cling to recognition, terrified that your contributions will be overlooked. Abundance trusts that value is always noticed in the long run, even if credit is shared in the moment. When you stop worrying about who gets the spotlight, you open yourself to deeper partnerships and bigger wins. And ironically, those who freely share credit often end up more respected and more remembered than those who don't. Abundance at work also involves seeing opportunity where others see threats. Scarcity looks at change, like new technology, reorganizations, market shifts, and panics. It sees disruption as danger. Abundance sees disruption as possibility. If new technology emerges, you ask, how can I learn this and use it to create more value? If the market shifts, you wonder, what new needs are emerging that I can help meet? While others freeze in fear, abundance thinkers adapt and innovate. This adaptability becomes a superpower, because in today's world, change is the only constant. Those who fear it get left behind. Those who embrace it move ahead. Mindset shifts are powerful, but they must be matched with habits. So how do you practice abundance at work every day? First, start with language. Notice how often you use phrases rooted in scarcity. There's not enough to go around. If I don't win, I lose. I can't share this or someone might steal my idea. Replace them with abundance language. There's always a way to create more. We can grow together. Collaboration multiplies results. These words rewire your brain, and over time, they reshape your actions. Second, make it a habit to celebrate others' success. This may feel unnatural at first, especially if you've been steeped in competition. But when you genuinely celebrate a colleague's achievement, you train yourself to see success as expansive, not exclusive. Their win doesn't diminish you. It adds to the culture of possibility that you also benefit from. Over time, this habit not only builds stronger relationships, but also reinforces your own confidence, because you stop seeing others as threats. Third, focus on problem solving, not position holding. Scarcity makes you obsessed with protecting your role. Abundance makes you obsessed with solving problems. When you orient yourself around solutions, you naturally create opportunities, because problems are endless and solutions are always in demand. The employee who protects their turf might survive for a while, but the one who consistently solves problems thrives indefinitely. Fourth, invest in your growth. Abundance says, I am not limited to what I know today. I can always learn, always expand. Every book you read, every course you take, every skill you build is a declaration of abundance. You are saying, there are always more opportunities because I am always capable of more. Scarcity keeps you stagnant, afraid to change. Abundance propels you forward, confident that growth creates security. Finally, practice generosity. At work, this doesn't just mean money. It means time, knowledge, mentorship, encouragement. When you share freely, you demonstrate that you believe there is enough to go around. You build goodwill, strengthen your network, and often receive more in return. Generosity is not weakness. It is a bold statement of confidence that opportunities multiply when shared. The bottom line is this: competition might keep you busy, but creation makes you impactful. Fear of losing your place keeps you stuck on the treadmill. Abundance, the choice to create, to collaborate, to grow, puts you on a path where opportunities are limitless. In the long run, the workplace doesn't remember those who fought hardest to stay ahead. It remembers those who built something worth keeping. And you have that power. The moment you shift from competing to creating, you stop being a pawn in someone else's game and start becoming an architect of new possibilities. So ask yourself, are you protecting a seat at the table, or are you building a bigger table? Are you running on the treadmill of fear, or are you walking the trail of vision? Abundance at work is not just an idea, it's a practice. And it starts today, with you choosing to stop competing and start creating opportunities. Abundance at work becomes even more powerful when we explore how it transforms your daily experience in the workplace. Beyond the philosophy and the mindset, there is a very real shift in energy, focus, and results when you stop competing and start creating opportunities. The difference shows up not only in how you feel at the end of the day, but also in how others respond to you. Scarcity drains the life out of you. Abundance breathes life into your career. Think about the stress that competition creates. When you're locked into a scarcity mindset, every meeting feels like a battleground, every project a contest. You find yourself guarding your ideas like secrets, second-guessing your colleagues, and watching your back constantly. This vigilance is exhausting. It keeps your nervous system on high alert, which leads to burnout, resentment, and disconnection. But when you operate from abundance, you approach meetings and projects with curiosity rather than defensiveness. You walk into the room asking, what can we create together? Instead of, how do I make sure I win? That shift alone lightens the load and allows you to engage more fully. Abundance also changes how you handle recognition. In a competitive environment, recognition is a scarce resource, and people scramble for it. You might feel jealous when others are praised, or frustrated when your contributions are overlooked. But in an abundance mindset, recognition is no longer a limited commodity. You realize that recognition is amplified when it's shared. Praising your colleagues not only lifts them up, but also strengthens your credibility as someone who builds, not just someone who takes. Over time, people trust you more because they see that you are not out to hoard credit, but to expand it. This trust creates opportunities for collaboration, leadership, and influence. When you stop competing, you also stop being ruled by fear of comparison. In scarcity, your worth is constantly measured against someone else's achievements. If they get promoted, you feel smaller. If they shine in a presentation, you feel invisible. Abundance reminds you that their path is theirs and yours is yours. The only true measure is whether you are growing, contributing, and creating. This freedom from comparison allows you to work with more authenticity. Instead of mimicking others or chasing their milestones, you lean into your own strengths. That authenticity becomes magnetic. Leaders and peers alike notice when someone is secure in their own identity and not scrambling to copy others. Another benefit of shifting from competition to creation is resilience. Competition is brittle. It makes you fragile because your sense of security depends on always staying ahead. One setback can shatter your confidence. Abundance, however, is flexible. It teaches you to see setbacks as lessons and pivots rather than failures. If a project doesn't succeed, you ask, what can I learn here? How can this open a new door? This mindset turns obstacles into stepping stones. You're no longer crushed by challenges because you trust your ability to adapt, to innovate, and to find opportunities hidden in adversity. This resilience connects directly to innovation. Scarcity stifles creativity because you're too focused on protecting your turf. When your mind is consumed with fear, there's little space left for fresh ideas. Abundance frees that mental bandwidth. It allows you to take risks, propose new strategies, and experiment without obsessing over whether you'll win or lose. And innovation is what organizations truly crave. Companies don't rise because their employees outcompete each other. They rise because people come together to create solutions that didn't exist before. If you want to future-proof your career, focus less on being the sharpest competitor and more on being the boldest creator. Abundance also transforms leadership. Many people think leadership is about climbing higher than others and then looking down from above. But the most effective leaders are those who create opportunities for their teams. They stop seeing leadership as control and start seeing it as empowerment. A scarcity-driven leader keeps knowledge close, micromanages, and treats employees like rivals. An abundance-driven leader shares freely, trusts deeply, and invests in their people. As a result, the team thrives, and so does the leader. This is why abundance is not only a personal advantage, but also an organizational one. It multiplies value across every level. Practically speaking, you can start creating opportunities by asking 3 simple questions each week. 1. What problem can I solve that no one has noticed yet? 2. How can I use my strengths to make someone else's job easier? 3. Where can I add value without being asked? These questions move you from a reactive, defensive stance to a proactive, creative stance. Instead of waiting for competition to push you, you create momentum by initiating. Over time, this practice shapes your reputation. People begin to see you not as just another player in the rat race, but as someone who expands possibilities. And when opportunities for advancement arise, who do you think leaders will look to? The one who fought for attention, or the one who consistently created value? Abundance at work also invites you to think beyond your role. Scarcity locks you into a narrow definition of your job description. This is my box, and I can't step outside it because someone else might notice. Abundance says, I'm not limited to my box. I can stretch, learn, and contribute in new ways. This doesn't mean overextending or neglecting your responsibilities. It means being open to growth, volunteering for projects that stretch your skills, and seeking opportunities to collaborate across departments. The more you stretch, the more opportunities you create, not just for yourself, but for the entire organization. Finally, abundance impacts your well-being. Workplaces driven by competition often produce stress, conflict, and even toxic cultures. People leave not because of the work itself, but because of the constant pressure of scarcity. By choosing abundance, you create a different atmosphere for yourself and those around you. You cultivate calm instead of chaos, collaboration instead of rivalry, growth instead of stagnation. Over time, this atmosphere not only makes you more productive, but also more fulfilled. You begin to see work not as a battlefield, but as a platform for creativity, service, and purpose. The workplace is changing rapidly, and those who thrive in the future will not be the ones who compete hardest, but the ones who create most consistently. Scarcity belongs to the past, abundance belongs to the future, and the choice is yours. Will you keep running on the treadmill of fear, or will you step into the open space of possibility where opportunities are waiting to be created? The real transformation comes when you recognize that abundance at work is not just a theory, but a daily practice that reshapes the way you experience your career. It's about how you choose to respond in the moments that matter. When a colleague shines, when a project shifts unexpectedly, when you're faced with the temptation to protect yourself rather than contribute. Every one of those moments is a choice point. Scarcity or abundance, competition or creation, fear or opportunity. And the choice you make shapes not only your path, but the culture around you. One of the most powerful ways abundance shows up is in how you handle recognition and influence. In a scarcity model, influence feels like something to hoard, a fragile currency that disappears if others have too much of it. But in an abundance model, influence expands the more it is shared. When you elevate the voices of your teammates, when you mentor and support others, you don't lose influence, you multiply it. People remember those who helped them grow far longer than they remember those who tried to outshine them. In fact, the people who give the most often become the ones most trusted to lead. Abundance also teaches you to think generationally, not just transactionally. In scarcity mode, you ask, how can I get ahead today? In abundance, you ask, how can I create opportunities that last, not only for me, but for those who come after me? This perspective elevates your work from survival to legacy. You begin to see yourself not just as an employee earning a paycheck, but as a builder leaving That mark might be a system you improve, a culture of trust you nurture, or a younger colleague you mentor into greatness. These are the creations that endure long after competitive victories are forgotten. Perhaps the most freeing aspect of abundance at work is that it allows you to stop pretending. In competition, you often feel pressure to wear a mask, to exaggerate strengths and hide weaknesses for fear of being outdone. But abundance frees you to be authentic. You can admit what you don't know, seek help, and share openly without shame. This authenticity deepens your relationships and strengthens your credibility. Ironically, it's when you stop pretending to have it all together that people start to see you as a true leader, because authenticity is rare and therefore powerful. When you stop competing and start creating, work becomes more than a grind for advancement. It becomes a playground for innovation, a laboratory for growth, and a platform for service. You start to experience joy in your contributions, rather than stress in your comparisons. You stop waiting for opportunities to be handed to you, and instead start building them with your own creativity. And the beautiful truth is this: there will always be more to build, more to share, more to discover. Opportunities are not limited, they are limitless in the hands of those who believe in abundance. So here is the conclusion. Competition may get you noticed, but creation will get you remembered. Scarcity may win you small victories, but abundance will carry you to lasting fulfillment. Every day you show up at work, you have the chance to either guard your place or expand the space for everyone. Choose expansion, choose creation, choose abundance. And here is the call to action. Begin today. Pick one place in your work where you've been competing out of fear, and ask yourself how you could instead create out of vision. Maybe it's sharing an idea you've been holding back, offering support to a colleague you once saw as a rival, or simply changing your language from "I have to win" to "we can grow together." Small actions shift mindsets, and mindsets shift futures. If this message resonates with you, if you're ready to stop running the race of scarcity and start walking the path of abundance, then subscribe to Think Fresh Daily. This is where we explore the mindset shifts that free you from fear and open you to possibility. Join this community of growth. Share this message with others who need it, and commit to becoming someone who doesn't just compete for space, but creates opportunities that last. Your career, your influence, and your joy will never be the same.